Capcom. Why do you make me keep making these videos? This is Q from Retro Q Gaming, and it's only last night I made another Capcom video, and now I wake up and I'm making another one. So, what am I talking about, at least, anyway? In this video, it's come out overnight that Capcom, with the port of Resident Evil 5 from Games for Windows Live to Steamworks, has essentially ripped out, I use those words specifically, ripped out the code for local co-op on PC Resident Evil 5. Now, Resident Evil 5 on PC, even on Games for Windows Live, didn't officially have local co-op, but the code was in there that two modders literally just had to turn it on and it worked almost flawlessly. The only thing is they had to go in, change something that said from off to on, and they had to forcibly disable mouse and keyboard so you could use two controllers, which is, you know, for modders is pretty standard stuff. They didn't have to add anything, they didn't have to do anything major. They literally just had to change two options, one from off to on and one from on to off. So that's it. Sounds pretty simple, right? At least for modders. Now, there's a community spokesperson who makes the majority of the announcements on Steam. He makes them on many other places as well. His username is, I think I'm pronouncing this correctly anyway, it's Webicon, or I've always called him Webicon. But he came out and made an official post on the matter. And that official post was, he mentioned that there was an unfortunate oversight. The developer notes were actually left in the game, or in the Steamworks version of the game. And they specifically referenced the words ripped out of the code, or the code was ripped out. Now here's what else he had to say. The crux of the issue is that the PC code base has no concept of multiple controllers. In other words, if you plugged in two Xbox controllers, Resident Evil 5 has no way of figuring out which gamepad controls which character, or what happens if one player uses a mouse and keyboard versus a gamepad. It's a difficult problem to solve since the original game's logic wasn't defined with multiple controllers in mind. So, I mean, that's the official word on it. But like I said, I'll read it out now in a second. The two modders literally just had to change an option from off to on and another option from on to off. So here's exactly what they said anyway. I don't understand why you claim the code simply does not work on a PC, as I was one of the key people who worked on the split screen mod that enabled it in Games for Windows Live initial releases on version for PCs. I confirm that all the code is fully functional and it worked flawlessly for the Games for Windows Live version. We did not add anything extra to the game at all, it was simply enabled. The only problem was that the keyboard would control both characters, so it was forcibly disabled. The game has no problem at all distinguishing between two controllers. Evidently, the game knows to assign pad 1 to player 1, pad 2 to player 2, vice versa. Otherwise, no characters at all would have moved. As for the Steamworks version, I got into the split screen menus and can confirm that all the code has been removed to enable the split screen functionality through the menu itself. Within the menus, the second controller will work fine, but it just loads the standard one-player game. Why can't this feature be added into a PC version? Now that was a couple of paragraphs wrote by a PC modder called The Blade, who was essentially one of the two main people who worked on the code, or on the split screen mod. Now the second modder, Sectus, added into the conversation real quick. The PC version does at least have some code for handling multiple controllers. There's an array defining which controller ID each player is using, and if you change player 2's ID from -1 to 1, then you'll have two controllers controlling player 1 and 2. As you said, that won't work with the keyboard and mouse, similar to the limitation in Resident Evil Revelations 2, and I've only tested this with X input style controllers. I was able to get into split screen co-op working fairly well, except for a major problem with the game thinking player 2 is supposed to have their own save game. I have no idea how difficult this would be to get working overall, but it's a shame the feature isn't there. I really wanted to play through the in-game split screen with my girlfriend like I did in Revelations 2. So that's pretty much how that is. Fans are up in arms, and most of them are angry because it's just, it seems like they're going out of their way, that Capcom are going out of their way to piss off the PC community, if you will, because everything they seem to be doing to them, just, it's mind-boggling how this can happen. Between all the other stuff, the Resident Evil Revelations 2 local co-op and online raid mode being added at a later date fiasco. Now there was then essentially they had the upgrade to Gold Edition for Resident Evil 5, where PC users had to pay for 6-year-old DLC. Personally, I didn't really care too much about that when I bought the DLC. And now this, now I mentioned in my other videos, I do play Resident Evil 5 a lot. I was going to go crazy with it with the update to Steamworks, but I'm still waiting on the Games for Windows Live save data migration tool. Sorry, I'm just out of bed, so it's I'm pretty tired. My English isn't working. So, I mean, it's been a few weeks, and they said they'd have the migration tool out by the end of the day, and it's been a few weeks, and it's still not out. According to a couple of other players, Dead Rising 2 on Steam, which was the Games for Windows Live version originally, that was ported over to Steamworks at some point in early March, and the save data migration tool was promised almost immediately, if not shortly. And here it is, nearly a month later, and they're still waiting. So, I mean, it's worrying as fuck. Why couldn't they just wait until the tool was done and then release the Steamworks version? Because I know that's why I'm holding off on playing, because I bought the DLC and I can't even play the DLC until I finish the main game on my Steam account, or on the new Steamworks version. So it's just a pain in the hole. Now, unfortunately, Capcom is kind of known for this bullshit lately, and it kills me, because old Resident Evil is one of my favorite series. They've completely changed that, but that's a different topic for a different video anyway. So let me know in the comment section below your whole outlook on Capcom being Capcom, on how they're treating the state of PC games that they release these days, because it's just bullshit, really. Like the video if you liked it. If you agree, hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. You can follow me on Twitter. I got some cool stuff happening on there. Thank you for watching. And now I will go back to playing something while I sit in quiet solitude, in silence, waiting for this damn Games for Windows Live Resident Evil 5 save data migration tool. Get the fuck on it, Capcom. I want to play your games, and you're just stopping me for some reason. Have a good one, everyone.